Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. A lot of gas on the show today, and it's not hot air.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, Sam. First, we talked to Richard Bryan, former governor, former U.S. senator, on energy and politics. And then we talked to Steve Trounday about the hottest thing in gaming coming to the Reno Hilton. Sam?
And coming up on the Power Pundit panel today, Marlene, Lockard, Pete Krueger, and Dick Gammick. It's all coming up next on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
The Abowed family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Catch us straight, dine at 8. Lucky you. Lucky you. Dance till 1. Have some fun. Lucky you. Lucky you. Taste the shrimp. Have a sip. Try the pool. Play it cool. At the Sienna Hotel Spa Casino. Lucky you.
In business, the key to success is not the quantity of your clients, it's the quality of your clients. Almost all companies will tell you they want more sales, but what they really need are quality customers who pay their bills on time. With Employer Link's client vendor screening program, we provide comprehensive reports regarding the financial performance of your corporate prospects, customers, and vendors. Build your business with great clients and vendors. Call Employer Links today at 883-3733.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years. Call 882-1700 to see what we can do for your organization.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad, political analyst Ande Engleman on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the News 4 Broadcast Center, here's Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're joined by a former United States Senator, former governor of the great state of Nevada, and a good friend of this program, Richard Bryan. Pleasure to have you here.
Sam, delightful to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. And I have to confess that I once worked for Richard Bryan. He was my boss when he was governor, and but it doesn't mean I get to go easy on you.
No. All right, let's start out with Senator Kerry. What are you thinking about what he's doing right now and the attacks that are coming at him from the Bush administration?
I think it indicates that this is going to be a very bitter and long campaign, even by modern presidential standards. They're already engaged. The president's numbers have slipped in recent months, and I think Democrats sense that there's a vulnerability. The one thing that Kerry has done is he has a unified Democratic Party behind him, and that's something that has not occurred in the recent past. Probably who gets credit for that is President Bush. I mean, I think even within Republican circles, there is some concern that the Bush policies have, in effect, united Democrats, more so maybe than they've united Republicans.
What do you think about the stories that's floating around again this morning of the possibility of Senator McCain as a running mate? Does that make any sense?
I don't think it's going to happen, but McCain is a maverick. That would add an enormous dimension, I think, of popular appeal. McCain is a guy that's not always right, of course, but I mean, he has the ability to project. He tells it like it is. And the American public likes that. He's kind of the anti-politician, if you will, and that makes him, in today's world, a very different kind of political figure. It's not going to happen, in my opinion, but it certainly would make for a very interesting ticket.
President Bush has $250 million in which to spend on this campaign. If he just bombards the public between now and Election Day with television ads criticizing Kerry, criticizing the Democrats, and extolling his own virtues, will that, in fact, do you think, sway the public?
Let me say it's an enormous advantage. The president has two advantages. One is the advantage of incumbency. I was at a meeting in New Orleans last week in which a member from the administration, NASA, the space agency, every other word was the president's vision. On the visual was the picture of the president, his quote. Everybody in the administration, and this is not limited certainly to this president, other presidents, different party, do the same thing. But everybody out there, Elaine Chao was in Vegas yesterday to talk about this new initiative to assist with Hispanic language challenged workers. That's all about politics. That's an advantage. The other advantage, and undeniably so, is the vast amount of money. It does make an enormous difference. Kerry doesn't have to match the president. I don't think he could do that. Kerry has to reach the critical threshold so that he can get his message out, and where he is challenged, respond in an effective way, and that's his challenge. I think he's going to do pretty well. Democrats are angry. This president, for whatever reason, whether you agree or disagree with the policies, has really polarized the country. All the numbers reflect that. In fact, some say it could be a closer election than the one 4 years ago. That's kind of hard to believe, but I think it's going to be very close. And for us in Nevada, this is not just, a state taking great pride in itself, as we all do as Nevadans. Nevada's a pivotal state.
Historically, how does this election shape up to ones in the past? Which one would you say this is the most like at this point?
I'm not sure. You've got an incumbent president. During the Reagan years, quite frankly, during his incumbency, he was an easy winner. In 1984 and 1988, you had an open seat. You had the president's father and Dukakis, and then you had the Clinton Bush race, and then you had the Clinton incumbency against Dole. I think it's kind of hard in recent years to reach a
Buchanan and
parallel.
Madison may have to go back to colonial
times.
times.
I have to say I've been around a while, but not that not that long. I did not know either of those gentlemen, although I've read a little bit about them. This is going to be a very bitter contest. I must say that the level of the rhetoric has been ratcheted up very early on. I don't think the president wanted that. I think he had hoped that his numbers would be secure.
I don't know. The minute that I hate to disagree with you, Senator.
Well, that's what we're here for.
But absolutely, thank you.
Yeah,
that's why the show works.
Absolutely.
But the minute that the administration knew that Kerry was the man, they went right after him. And Kerry is coming back and slamming them. The president's coming right back and slamming them. Both have their attack machines ready to go.
Yeah, I don't think we're really disagreeing with each other. What you're saying is absolutely true. What I'm saying is I don't think that the Bush people wanted it to be this way. I think they wanted to be positioned that the president's numbers were so high and that the Democratic Party was in such disarray, and their dream candidate as the Republican strategist was Dean. That was who they had hoped for. They thought they were going to get him. All of a sudden, Dean's world kind of collapsed on
in a scream.
Kerry emerges, and the Democratic Party. Will Rogers was once asked if he was a member of an organized political party, and he said no. He said, I'm a Democrat.
I know we're just about out of time, but I want to quickly change the subject to energy.
Yes.
Something that you worked on when you were in the U.S. Senate. Last night, Senator Reid came out and he said he wanted the president to release the reserves, oil reserves, in order to drive the price of gas down a little bit. Today, this morning, Congressman Gibbons came out with a press release saying that was very bad. He was much opposed to that what we need instead is a good energy policy in this country, whatever that may be.
I think both of them are right. We do need a good energy policy. We need an energy policy that places additional emphasis upon the non-traditional fuels. Clearly we're going to have petroleum products as a part of our energy mix for decades, but we have done very little. This administration, I must say, has not done, in my judgment, enough to push us towards alternative fuels. I think Senator Reid is right that if you release some of the reserves, that would help to stabilize the price. It's not a long-term solution. It's short-term.
Listen, we're out of time on this, but will you stick around for the pundit panel and then we can talk with you?
Do I get to ask some questions then, Sam?
Absolutely. It can be your show. You can guest host anytime you want. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, voted Reno's best buffet by locals year after year. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch. Atlantis.
Would you like to savor a Trento pork chop? Or maybe pasta rags with grilled chicken? Hugo's Tuscan Grill at D'Andrea is a celebration of color, flavor, and freshness. Each dish is created from natural, wholesome foods that is delicious and nutritious. Hugo's is a comfortable restaurant with breathtaking city views. If you enjoy great food and good company, visit us here at Hugo's. It's the best that dining can be. 2900 South D'Andrea Parkway in Sparks.
Allegra is Northern Nevada's #1 offset printing and digital copying facility.
From disc to destination, Allegra utilizes tomorrow's technology today. We specialize in booklets, catalogs, manuals, newsletters, stationery, and envelopes.
Xerox, Docutech, 4-color printing with Heidelberg Speedmaster, desktop publishing and design, graphic services, pickup and delivery.
If you need printing, Allegra can do it. From disc to destination.
To experience the royal cuisine of India, you need some serious magic or simply transport yourself to India Garden, right here in Reno, where you'll discover Indian specialties refined over centuries. Sikh kebab, tandoori dishes cooked in our own tandoor oven, biryani specialties, curries, fresh-baked Indian bread, over a dozen vegetarian dishes, even dishes rare to India like dosa, South Indian-style crepes. India Garden off South Virginia near Sports West. We are India.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
Back on the program, we welcome Steve Trounday. He's Vice President of Marketing for the Reno Hilton. And I have to confess that I do business with the Reno Hilton, so I want to put that up front. But despite that, we still want to have you on the program and talk to you about stuff.
Good morning.
I am just blown away by how poker has gone crazy on TV, on the Travel Channel, on the Bravo Channel. What's been the reason that people have suddenly rediscovered, I should say, poker?
Well, the Travel Channel, worked with the WPT, which is the World Poker Tour, and they've created this television show where you can actually see the players' cards. And they believe that that really was the reason that people started getting excited about this. And it's grown. Their prize money this year is over $30 million in the World Poker Tour. So it's really grown into something else, and poker's just become the most popular new sport, if you might, that's come around. So it's really popular.
Well, that would make sense, because if you can see the cards, you can learn that way. You can figure out what's a good hand, when to hold them and when to fold them.
Right, and people are going, well, I wonder what I would do and what the strategies are. And we've noticed down at the Reno Hilton, lots of younger people are coming in and they want to play these low-limit pokers so they can kind of practice and see how they can do.
So it's literally bringing in people?
Oh yes, our poker revenues are up like 300%. It's incredible. And of course we have the World Poker Challenge and the World Poker Tour are coming to the Reno Hilton starting tomorrow. We have 2 weeks of poker, and then the televised Travel Channel show will be April 1st at the Reno Hilton.
Okay. So when does this start now, the
The World Poker Challenge, which is our satellite tournament, starts tomorrow, the 18th, and it runs for 2 weeks, and then the last 3 days are the World Poker Tour, which is the big money, $5,000 buy-in for all the players, and then the winner of that gets to go to the finals at the Bellagio in Las Vegas, and that's a $25,000 entry fee.
And so how much can they win, though?
Well, we expect that we'll probably have about $4 million in prize money here at the Reno Hilton. And then down to Las Vegas, I can't imagine the amount of money that's going to be generated.
And to show how big this thing is, Harrah's bought the Horseshoe name just so they would get
so they could get the
Binion's
World Series of Poker, which is a competing poker tournament. But again, they're just so popular. It's crazy how much popularity.
Well, I wanted to follow up on this because, for so many years now, we've seen all the attention in gaming go towards slot machines. That's been the big driver. A lot of places have been shutting down tables and just going with slot machines. But all of a sudden now, with poker taking off and TV shows like the Las Vegas show that airs right here on NBC, No need for paying me for the
All
plug.
right, all right.
But anyway, but that's a very hot, sexy show, and it shows people having a lot of fun playing games like craps. Do you think you're going to start to see a resurgence in other table games?
I would hope so. You know, there's been a decline in table games for many years because the younger generations and people have liked to play all the fancy slots that have come around. We're hoping that it will certainly broaden the base because it's one of our right now competing things that we have against any casinos. In Nevada, you can play craps and roulette, which you can't play in California. So we're trying to use that as an advantage, and hopefully there will be growth in that end of the market.
Okay, so I'm reading the Las Vegas Review-Journal from about a week ago, and it says 142,000 people showed up for NASCAR. And I'm thinking, oh my Lord. There was talk years ago about having a track out at Patrick, and then that idea kind of went away. Then they talked about maybe one at Stead. You know, as a marketing guy, do you think that that would be a good draw for this area? Could we make something like NASCAR work here?
Absolutely. I've always believed in special events in this community. I've looked at Reno as the ultimate two-day getaway. The busy weekends in Reno are, you know, Hot August Nights, the Reno Rodeo, the balloon races. Those are the kind of events that we can get people to make that two-day getaway past the Indian casinos and come to Reno. So certainly a NASCAR or any event like that would be a plus for the community, and it's the kind of thing we got to constantly keep looking at. You know, I've been trying to get this bike race put together because I think our mountains and our area is going to be a place where we could have a very, very large bike race. We just keep looking at new events, and we can fill up this entire calendar and make Reno a very successful destination resort.
Does it drive you crazy when you saw the Reno Gaming Summit a couple of weeks ago, and this fellow, the consultant no one's ever heard of, saying that we're all dead and we're going to die? Does that drive you nuts? It drives me nuts.
I don't listen to him anymore. As someone who has to market a property, I'm not going to give up. So we're looking at new ways to do business. I'm trying to make the Reno Hilton and Reno, because Reno, we all sink or swim together, a two-day getaway for the leisure business, so that you certainly will go, if you just have to gamble, you're going to go to your neighborhood Indian casino. But a couple times a year, you're going to want to go to Reno, where you get the shows and the shopping and the great restaurants and all the things that Reno has to offer. I think that is what will make Reno successful in the long run.
And plus, it's a great place to be, because that's why we all live here.
Exactly.
Steve Trounday, thanks so much for being here. Back with the Pundit panel right after this timeout.
It's time for the 2004 Home and Garden Show, and we invite you to come see us at Affordable Landscaping. We create outdoor rooms with enchanting water gardens and graceful waterfalls. At Affordable Landscaping, our designers will customize your yard to complement and enhance the beauty of your home. Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Bart. We're owners of Affordable Landscaping. We look forward to seeing you at the Home Show, March 26th through the 28th.
Just look for Rusty here. He looks a little like Bart.
The Abowed family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Your home is an expression of all things comforting and familiar. For custom storage, you can count on California Closets to provide quality, value, and design integrity. The process is easy, combining your personal style with our organizing expertise. We care about what matters most to you, making your home functional and beautiful. California Closets, simplifying home and life since 1978. Call today for your complimentary design consultation.
Join us for the uncorking of the 3rd Reno Tahoe Wine, Food, and Jazz Festival, April 30th through May 2nd at the Reno Hilton. Sample wines, cooking demonstrations, live jazz, and purchase fine art at festival days. Try dishes from the Reno Hilton's finest restaurants and taste wines from over a dozen wineries at the Grand Tasting. And at the exclusive Winemakers Reception and Art Auction, meet winemakers from Cakebread Cellars, Sequoia Grove, Benziger, and others. A fine wine festival that won't need to age to perfection. April 30th through May 2nd, only at the Reno Hilton.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we have a great pundit panel for you today. Peter Krueger is here with the Nevada Petroleum marketers. Senator Bryan joins us on the panel. Marlene Lockard used to work for Senator Bryan, is here from Capital Strategies. And Washoe County DA Dick Gammick, and what a great tie that is on St. Patrick's Day.
St. Mickey, my patron saint.
Okay, let's start out here. Senator Bryan, you were very interested in miles per gallon when you were in the Senate with the CAFE program. When you look at the current gas prices and the Hummers out there, what are you thinking?
I think there's a real missed opportunity. We've had several of those, in my opinion. We ought to be doing things that focus on, other non-traditional fuel sources, but we ought to do something about conservation as well, and we can do so. I think once again we're about ready to see what occurred in 1973-74 when we had the OPEC oil embargo, gas prices shot up. At that point, the Japanese had a very small penetration in the American auto market. People, because the prices looked immediately to automobiles that gave them good mileage, and the Japanese established a foothold and now are major competitors. Once again, the Japanese appear to be taking the lead on these hybrids, that is electric and traditional internal combustion engine, styled. They can't sell enough of them. It strikes me that we're really vulnerable in terms of a market, that the Japanese might take that market over as well, and frankly, it'll make us less energy dependent, and it's the right thing to do.
I want to add, Senator, that I don't disagree. Representing petroleum wholesalers, our members are local businesses, people who grew up in their community statewide, and they will gravitate and move towards any source of energy that they can sell both profitably and will provide a service to the public. Because after all, I don't represent refiners. But yet our members are the people in the communities providing the fuel to the motoring public. So, no, I don't disagree with that. And I think the hybrids are our first start. We hear about hydrogen, very costly, and probably some safety issues there. But no, I think our members are poised. We have members now selling propane. We have members selling
Peter,
hydrogen.
one second. If we don't let Mr. Gammick go here,
is he ready?
It's going to be an explosion at the end of this table.
All right.
I agree with what's being said, that we need to be more energy conscious, and there's absolutely no question. But there's another segment that gets thrown into this, and that's the end of September 28th. The major oil companies all reported their profits. We're talking from Texaco, 1.1 billion to 7.2 billion in profits. We're talking Exxon, 11.5 to 21.5. We got a $0.3 billion loss to Conoco, and they came up with $4.7 billion in profits in 1 year. We're talking 7 times the profits. How much are the major oil companies gouging us on top of everything else that's going on?
I think, excuse me, go ahead, Marlene.
I was just going to say that there's another element. I recently learned that our tax policy is such that a family bought 2 Hummers because they could deduct the cost of those Hummers. So we're putting folks in exactly the wrong direction of a conservation type of energy policy or tax policy.
That heavy-duty vehicle policy, though, was not designed for the average motorist. That was an inducement for business and small business to buy pickup trucks and heavier trucks. It's true, there's that loophole, and it's not right. I would agree with that. But going back to Dick, that word gouging is not a fair word, because what does the capitalist system encourage people to maximize profits? You're darn right it does. Now, if you're talking price fixing or collusion, Dick, that's a different term. But price gouging, if I'm a retailer and my ability to raise prices, the public's going to vote with their feet.
But what interests me,
well, not when everybody's got the same
everybody's
prices.
doing it, yeah.
But they don't have the same price.
Oh, yeah, they do.
I was in.
Look at it.
Can we go for a drive after the show?
Sure.
Yeah. Senator, you look like you want to jump in there.
Well, it strikes me that, Peter, the defense that you're making is for the refineries. These are the folks that I think Dick is talking about. I have some sympathy for the fellow that sells gas on the street corner. I suspect that individual, his or her price margin probably remains somewhat constant. But I must say, I'm always suspicious. We get some kind of an indication of Middle East crisis, and the prices shoot up that same day. The prices ease, and it takes weeks for it to come back down. So I must say I have a lot of the Gammick suspicion in me about what these fellows are doing with the gas prices.
Gasoline is a commodity, no different than pork bellies or gold. Uncertainty in the marketplace is what drives that example you gave. if when OPEC decided that and it was rumored and then became true apparently that OPEC is going to tighten production, traders and the people who make lots of money at that. And please, I'm not defending major oil companies. They're not my members. But however, I just think the word price gouging gets to me as a term. Again, collusion and those illegal things definitely should not happen.
Well, the issue's raised, though. You have to admit that. Is there collusion? When they're all running the same prices, when they all run this kind of profits, is there collusion? I don't know. I'm raising the issue, and I'm not in a position to go after it. It needs to be done federally.
Well, I contend that if you drive around Reno anytime, you go to Costco and find probably some of the least expensive gasoline and some of the big, what we refer to as big boxes. You can go to some of the branded stations and see some very high prices. So there is a change in the marketplace.
Yeah, I think I'd be interested to get Peter's reaction. When you do travel around the country, there is an enormous differential. I was just in New Orleans over this past weekend, and they were grousing about the prices there. $1.57 a gallon. I think a lot of us would think we'd died and gone to heaven if we could fill up for $1.57 a gallon. There does seem to be some regional disparity.
We're an island.
You know what? We're going to have Peter on the show tomorrow, and so we're going to have him answer that there because we're out of time. I just have one more thing. Would you let Dennis Kucinich know it's time to give up?
Yes. Yeah.
We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
It's America's largest historical district, and it's fun for the entire family. Virginia City is where the West comes alive every day, from train rides to gunslingers. Your gang can explore mines and interesting museums, visit historic saloons, and do some great shopping. Virginia City is the ultimate in family entertainment, and it's very affordable. Come up and stay overnight in our hotels, motels, and RV park. Virginia City, the Wild West at its best.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
Oh, you bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they've saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, voted Reno's best buffet by locals year after year. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch.
Atlantis.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo free checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
Happy St. Patrick's Day to Travis Smith at KOH.